This program was brought to you by Coller Institute of Venture at Tel Aviv University.
Good morning. I hope you can all hear me for sure. First of all, our rector will join us during the day, but he had a commitment in the agenda, one of those unexpected commitments, so I apologize on his behalf, and I'm representing him institutionally. I want to welcome you all to this workshop. First of all, the ambassador of Israel was so kind to come here, and the president of the Tel Aviv University, all the participants, all our sponsors, the organization, and I don't know if I'm missing anyone. Professor Eli Talma is probably one of the individual enthusiasts of this initiative. We had lunch some time ago, as you remember, and I thank you very much for your enthusiasm on this initiative. What can I say apart from welcoming you to this session? Maybe a question that sometimes arises in this type of events. Why are you doing this at ISCTE? ISCTE is a small, mid-level in Portuguese terms, but a small university in general. We have about 9,000 students in very focused spectrum of disciplines: management, social science, and technologies. And our position is very much in several domains, but in international relations, in the disciplinary configuration, is very much to improve our status as a node in several networks. So we are relatively small. We don't do everything. So our positioning is for the several reasons, is to be ourselves a node of a network. Internationally, we like to see ourselves, but then of course everyone likes to see themselves like this. We like to see ourselves as the center of the world. I think every country has a map with his own country in the center. But we have been very much aware of our potential, in some sense, in this globalized world between East and West, and North and South. And so we see in the flow of students, in the flow of researchers here at ISCTE, that people from the Far East want to interact with people in South America. People in North of Europe want to go to Africa, which 20 years ago was non-existing in economic terms space. We have this 250 million native Portuguese speakers in the world, which 20 years ago was also a non-existing number. I remember even in the European projects when I started, everyone asked me if Brazil spoke the same language as Portugal. And we had always had to say yes with a different accent, but the ambassador knows that for sure. Probably the same question was put to you some years ago. Then the world started to realize that Brazil and Portugal were speaking the same language. And then the world started to realize that some countries that were all painted black in Africa, like Angola and Mozambique and other countries, started to get a green color or something like that, green or yellow or red. They became alive in the map. So suddenly we have these surprises of former colleagues, not very long ago, 15, 20 years ago, that asked us, how do I do business, how do I do interaction with universities in Angola or in Mozambique, because I don't understand them very well. And I think that's a potential for ISCTE to interact. We have a relevant international activity off campus, but I'm not going to develop too much those facts. The other aspect that we like to see to strengthen here at ISCTE is this network role between disciplines. You may ask, and I see some colleagues from engineering schools and my former schools. I was formerly in the engineering school, then in a science school. Now I'm at ISCTE. And some people may ask, but what do they do related with water? We actually don't have a lot of biochemists around here, not a lot of civil engineers. We don't have a lot of biologists. Well, maybe one accidental or another one. But in several disciplines, and water is a good example of that, we have been trying both in our core domains of management, social sciences, and IT and architecture, and also in our participated organizations like Audax, to connect these technology-based economies and the technology-based initiatives. So we don't study water as biologists, but we would like, and we are interested in understanding the value chain of water, wherever it appears, both inside the country and in the sea, and also in the beach, because I think we have an existential dilemma between our interest in the sea and our interest in the beach, which seem to be the same thing, and that's why sometimes things take time to develop. I know I see someone from the Navy here that is probably understanding this better than I. But to understand why do we do these things here, and even for ourselves, this is our reasoning. We are interested in these value chains of water, of energy, of environment, even though we don't have environments. Core technology-based studying here, and we try to bring people together and develop some interesting and some fruitful approach to these value chains. That's the role of BGI and Audax in the entrepreneurship and innovation domains. Actually, a lot of the companies that have been supported in this process of the startups, they have nothing to do with the core disciplines of ISCTE. But nevertheless, we aim at understanding those value chains and because that's what they don't understand. And this is this networking that puts us in the connection between the core technology and science studies and then the economy that can and the society that can profit from those technologies. It's really very much our interest. Water is a natural thing in Portugal, both because there's a lot in one side and there's every day there is less on the other side. So we should think about water. And Tel Aviv we are very honored to have you here. I believe, well, not only institutionally, but in my role, that it's an excellent link to go further to the east and to go further to the west. We are very much into these trilateral, multilateral connections between disciplines and academic partners. And so thank you very much for coming. I really think something will happen in the future, and I wish that. Thank you very much.
This program was brought to you by Coller Institute of Venture at Tel Aviv University.